heated up a bowl of sweet potato and sage soup, which is homemade and, not to toot my own horn, but is quite frankly one of the most delicious things I have ever eaten, and it feels very festive, so I thought what better time than now to kickstart Vlogmas 2022. So without further ado, welcome to Vlogmas. Now it isn't actually the start of December yet, it's actually Monday the 28th of November, but the reason I kind of wanted to start Vlogmas today, aside from how festive that soup made me feel, is the fact that tomorrow I'm actually going down to London for a there and back in a day work trip, and I just have a sneaking suspicion that London is going to feel very festive, and it was too risky to risk not putting that in Vlogmas, if you know what I mean. So I thought, why not start Vlogmas today, and then if London happens to be a wonderful festive experience, then we can experience it together. And the reason I'm starting the vlog today rather than tomorrow, which is when I'm actually travelling down to London, is because my train is at 4:40 a.m. You heard that correctly, 4:40 in the morning I'm travelling down to London, and that is quite frankly because the ticket prices for trains down to London in general, but especially right now, are just astronomical, and to get there at the time that I would need to get there, the latest train that I could get would have been 6:30, but the ticket difference between 4:40 and 6:30 was almost like double to travel at 6:30, so I decided to brave the extremely early morning, travelling down at 4:40 and then back at about 6:30 in the evening. So it's going to be quite a busy day. I'm going to be meeting Em for breakfast and a coffee, which I'm so excited about, and then going to my work day, travelling back, and it's going to be quite hectic, but I'm hoping there'll be a few little festive nuggets in there to spice the day up. And of course I love a little bit of train reading, so I thought this journey down, and of course the fact that this is the first Vlogmas video, means that this would be the perfect opportunity to read my first festive book of Vlogmas 2022. Now I have a couple of options available to me. One is a new book, which, where have I put it? Here it is. Okay, so one is a new book, The Christmas Wish by Lindsay Kelk. Now I feel like this might be a nice one to kickstart Vlogmas with because it's brand new, I haven't read it before, and of course it has Christmas in the title, so I'm hoping it's going to live up to that and be very festive. My alternative option would be to reread a Christmas book that I know I already love. So of course An Island Christmas is up there as potentially my favourite Christmas book of all time. I just think it's a tried and true Christmas classic, and I personally love it. And the other option is a Christmas book that I read for the first time last December, which was Christmas Island. So not to be confused with An Island Christmas, but this one, unlike this one, which is set in like a Scottish island, is set in, I think, Norway, or an island kind of around Norway, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm definitely going to be rereading both of these throughout December, and of course I'm going to be reading this one throughout December. So the dilemma that faces me is not a case of which one to read, but rather which one to read first. So I'm going to mull that over today and try to decide before I go to bed tonight, because I'm going to try and pack everything so that I have to get up as, like, what's the word, as little before my train as possible. Like, I don't want to have to get up before 4 a.m, so I'm going to try and do as much prep as possible, get ready for the day ahead of me, and choose which book to read, and then it'll be a trip down to London. So there we have it. It is currently my Monday lunchtime, which is why I've heated up my lovely bowl of soup, so I'm going to go ahead and eat that soup, think about which book I want to read, and I will catch up with you later on. But welcome to Vlogmas. I cannot even express how cold I am. I don't know if the camera's really showing right, but obviously my face is very, very pale, but my nose has gone so red and it genuinely feels like an icicle on the end of my face. It's ridiculous. My fingers are cold, my toes are cold, I've had a hot water bottle all day because of the increased cost of living and specifically the increased cost of energy prices, and I have been resisting having the heating on like a regular schedule. So it's basically been like, if we've put some washing on and we need to dry clothes, then we'll put the radiators on for a small time, but we haven't had the heating on properly yet this year. But it's starting to get to that point where I think I'm going to have it on for at least like a couple of hours a day. I think I'm going to have to, because obviously working from home, I am inside the house all day and it is freezing cold. So all that to say, I'm clearly back from London. It's now Wednesday, so yesterday I travelled down 4:40 in the morning, bright and early. It wasn't bright actually, it was very dark and early because it's winter, and got back at just before 9 p.m, so it was a very, very, very long day. But I was really surprised with how untired I felt. Like I was surprisingly energetic for pretty much the entire day, and I really was just like waiting and apprehensively just like waiting for that drop in energy, but it never came. So I don't know what happened there. And then we got home, Jay picked me up from the train station and we got into bed, managed to get like a decent night's sleep, got up early this morning, went swimming, and it's like I've just had a normal day. So I don't know if just like getting up early and getting right back to it this morning just like put me on track. I don't really know, but either way, I'm not complaining about it because it meant that I didn't feel terrible, and I was expecting to feel terrible, so that was always a pleasant surprise. Now, my trip to London was, despite being a very long day, actually really, really nice. Obviously I met Em in the morning, which was so lovely because I haven't seen her since she moved down to London, and then had a work day, which was also really nice. But most importantly of all, I did some reading on the train home, and clearly I decided to go with a brand new book to start December, and that was The Christmas Wish. So I managed to read myself about 50 pages of this book. I won't lie, reading in the dark on the train on the way home was the one point in the day where my energy did start to crash. So I was kind of enjoying the book, but also not wanting to fall asleep because I did not want to miss my stop and end up in like Newcastle or Edinburgh. So I decided to put the phone down and like scroll on TikTok. No, that's the wrong way around. Put the book down and scroll on my phone to keep myself awake. But I started this book and so far I'm really enjoying it because it is actually a Christmas book that takes place at Christmas. And that might seem like a pretty obvious statement. However, I've got many books which sort of proclaim to be like December books or Christmassy books, where it's either like a really long lead up to Christmas, or it starts at Christmas but then the rest of the book isn't actually that particularly Christmassy, whereas this book starts on Christmas Eve and you get right into the Christmassy spirit. And it says in the blurb, newly single lawyer Gwen Baker is hoping that a family Christmas, countryside, a mountain of food and festive films will salve the sting of her career hanging by a thread and her heart being trampled on. Because everyone else has their life sorted. Even Dev, her boy next door crush, is now a tall, dark, handsome stranger with a fiancé she can't help wishing her future was clearer. Then Gwen wakes up to discover it's Christmas Day all over again, like Groundhog Day but with turkey and family arguments on repeat. As she figures out how to escape her own particular Christmas hell, Dev is the one bright spot. He might be all grown up, but underneath he's just as kind and funny as she remembers. Maybe, just maybe, her heart can be mended after all. But how do you fall in love with someone who can't remember you from one day to the next? I don't know about you, but I think that sounds incredible. So at the moment we are on Christmas Day number 1. There's been no Groundhog Day just yet, but the fact that it is a Groundhog Day style book is wonderful because it means not only does the book start at Christmas, it's going to stay there, and I absolutely love it. I also think the humour that it's playing on and the way that it's showing like the family tiffs and arguments and clashes of personality on Christmas Day is so funny, and it's really reminding me of the way that the Gavin and Stacey Christmas special just captures the reality of Christmas, and the way that families are when they're all together and drink is involved and everyone is like having a fun time, but then it can kind of like tip over into accidentally offending or upsetting someone, and then like how you get back on track to Christmas. And I absolutely love Christmas, but I do think obviously you are still the same people on Christmas Day as you are every other day. So if you have personality clashes on normal days, it's going to happen on Christmas as well. And most Christmas films kind of shine up reality a little bit and make it a lot more rose tinted, whereas I think this book and things like Gavin and Stacey, they kind of like capture the magic of Christmas but also the reality and humour of it as well, and I just think that's wonderful. So very glad to have picked this one to start December, because I just think it's going to be such a fun festive read, and I now have it on good authority, and I'm going to be very disappointed if this isn't the case, that Spotify Wrapped is ready. So I'm going to open my Spotify app and hope that it is ready, so wish me luck. Oh. Lol. I should have known this would happen. Soon as I try and show something to the world, guess what? It's not there. It's like when you like share your screen on a work call and then all of a sudden the thing that you wanted to show doesn't work. Okay. I'm going to update my Spotify app and see whether that does the trick. The app is officially updated. Let's try again. Yes! Okay, right. Oh, why am I nervous? 2022 Wrapped. I don't like the colour scheme. I don't like the orange and the purple together. Welcome to my Wrapped. Please do wrap me. Ooh. Let's get to the good stuff. With one song, it was Love at First Listen. Which is it going to be? My top song, As It Was by Harry Styles. Now, I thought Harry Styles might well be one of my top songs, because when Harry Styles' new album came out, the thing that I was doing the most was running. I was training for the half marathon and I listened to Harry Styles so much. But the fact that All Too Well 10-minute version is on there as well, very happy about that. I'm going to look at what are my other top songs. So we've got All Too Well 10-minute version, As It Was, obviously in #1 spot, Baby by H, also really high on my list, Sidelines by Phoebe Bridgers, and then Dancing on My Own from Bridgerton, which I just think was one of the best, if not actually the best, like string quartet version of a popular song. I just thought it was exceptional. It gives me shivers when I listen to it. Okay, who's my top artist? I bet it's Taylor Swift. Hey, of course it's Taylor Swift. Oh, I'm in the top 2% of Taylor Swift listeners this year. Who would have thunked it? And All Too Well, yeah, obviously 10-minute version. Who listens to the normal version anymore? That's my question. Okay. Who are my other artists? Top artists. Taylor Swift, Harry Styles, Miley Cyrus, Fleetwood Mac, and H. All artists that I was listening to pretty much non-stop when I was doing my half marathon training. It really did solidify things for me, I'm not gonna lie. This year you had layers like an onion, but you listen to music unlike an onion. Time to meet your listening personality. Okay. Come on then. The Enthusiast. You are a super fan. When your favourite artist releases new music, you're among the first to know, going above and beyond to show your support, familiarity, newness, loyalty and community. Wow. Well, do you know what? I'm unsurprised, but I absolutely do love Spotify Wrapped. It kind of had everyone that I was expecting, and yet it's fun to like see it solidified on screen. So there we go. My top genre was pop, my top songs, my top artists, all to be expected, and yeah, I just love it. Now I've got to decide which colour, pink, black, yellow or purple, to put on Instagram stories, and I think it's going to be pink ovs. Okay, right, well there we go. Spotify Wrapped is here. Today is the last day of November, and tomorrow morning it will be time to crack open the tea advent calendar. Aside from just like huddling in a ball and trying to stay warm this evening, my plans are involving trying to do some more reading of The Christmas Wish, and also me and Jay have started watching 1899 on Netflix. It's just recently been released and it's by the creators of the show Dark, which was incredible and is one of mine and Jay's favourite shows of all time. It's a German show and it's incredible. But 1899 is basically set in the year 1899, and it is about a ship travelling from Europe over to America with various passengers from different places around Europe, different walks of life, going to try and, you know, make a new life in America. But then something happens, they come across a wrecked ship and it starts to seem that things are not exactly as they might have first appeared, and that things are going on beneath the surface, and it's very intriguing. So we've been watching that for the last couple of weeks. We've been giving ourselves one episode per night to really make it last, and tonight we are on the final episode. So that will be our evening tonight, staying warm, trying to read, watching 1899, and then when we wake up tomorrow it'll be Christmas. Kind of. 1st of December is Christmas basically. Good morning. You might be able to hear the kettle boiling in the background because it is now the 1st of December and the time has come to open the tea advent calendar. Now, as per the instructions on this box, it says do not open until December 1st. So I have resisted even unboxing the calendar from like its packaging, and I am just so excited to see what it looks like, and of course to try the first day of tea. So I have like prepped by pre-boiling the kettle so that I have to wait as little time as possible between finding out the flavour of tea and actually trying it. But without further ado, let's dive in. I genuinely just feel so excited. Oh, okay. Oh, free teas! How exciting. Okay, so Bird and Blend are so great. They always send sample teas in with your main one. And oh, I think these are 2 of their autumn ones because I ordered this really early this year. I think I must have ordered it in like September. And so they have sent their spiced pumpkin pie and also their butter brew blend, both of which sound lovely, but that is not what we're trying right now, but I am excited to try them in a little while. I'm trying to clear my space because this is what we're here for. Okay, so, oh, it looks so festive. I'm so happy and excited. Right, okay. Oh, this literally feels like Christmas. I cannot cope. Okay, There we go, my tea advent calendar. I can already smell so much good tea in there. Right, so I can find number 1 down there at the bottom. So without further ado, the tea is out, and which side is the flavour on? Oh, there we go. Can we see? Gingerbread chai, our award-winning chai spice gingerbread. That seems like a perfect blend to start Christmas with, because I love chai, so I know it's going to be a winner for me, and I love gingerbread, so I feel like this is just like a surefire definite favourite for me. So it says with or without milk, so I'll definitely have it with milk, brew for 4 minutes, and for this very special occasion, the 1st of December, I have pulled out my most festive mug, which I picked up from Anthropology in last year's Vlogmas, and I've been waiting to use this mug because it's just so cute and so festive. So without further ado, I'm going to crack open the box of tea and make my first tea for Tea Vent 2022. How exciting. Okay, so the tea smells incredible, but I think it still has about 1 minute of brewing time. So while I test my patience and allow that to brew properly, I thought I would give you a quick reading update on The Christmas Wish, because I am now about halfway into this book. I'm 160 pages in, and I think this book has a little over 300 pages, and I'm really enjoying it. It's very easy reading, and I feel like that is exactly what I was wanting from a book like this, and it is very festive, but also, I don't want to say supernatural, but you obviously have this sense of like something not being quite right because of the Groundhog Day thing. Now, I feel like the Groundhog Day element is obviously like the main part of the book, and so you can't really read the book if you can't allow yourself to be immersed in that as a concept. But I would say my one critique of that as a concept in general is that it feels as though the other characters that you're getting to know are a little bit more two-dimensional, because they just keep repeating and repeating and repeating without you really getting to know them and understand them as well as the main character, who obviously starts to like hyper analyze what's going on because she is the only one that remembers that Christmas Day is repeating. And so I feel like it takes a little bit longer to get to know the other characters because they are essentially like on a loop. But I also think it's kind of ironic that this book is obviously about a loop, and Jay and I just finished 1899 last night, which is also kind of about a very similar concept and like about things looping and people being trapped by their own minds. So I feel like it's very interesting how you can have two concepts that are very similar, and in one concept it can come across so light-hearted, so festive, so like fun, and then in the other, like in 1899, is so dark and so much more sinister. But I love the concept and I love how it's playing out in both elements, so very excited to carry on reading this. And although this might be a tiny bit unrealistic, I'm kind of planning and hoping to finish this book today, just because I felt like it would be nice to get a book done before the 1st of December. And as I may have mentioned, I'm very behind on my Goodreads score this year, to the point where I don't even know if it's going to be possible for me to get my Goodreads score. But either way, I'm going to do everything I can to get there, or as close as I can, and finishing at least one book every couple of days is kind of the only way that I'm going to get there. So gonna try and get through the rest of this book today, do some more reading before work, and then read on my lunch break, read after work, and hopefully that will get me through, because it is so digestible and it is quite easy and quick to get through. So really enjoying it, it's very fun, and I'm very happy to have picked this one as my first December read. And on that note, back to tea, because I think I've probably been patient enough. So It smells very like rooibos-y, so it's kind of got a very sweet, warming and almost licoricey kind of smell to it, which is very like welcoming, I would say. And for anyone interested, Butterfingers here, the ingredients are rooibos, cardamom, cinnamon, ginger, mallow flowers, and that's it. So it sounds very tasty, and all of the spicy blends are like usually my favourite because I just love a sweet, warm and spicy tea. So without further ado, cheers to Christmas. Wow. I just love rooibos. Any tea that has rooibos in it, I'm there for it. I really am. This is so cozy. I think rooibos and the mallow flowers add this element of like really cozy sweetness to the mug, and then obviously all of the spices add these layers that kind of contribute to it feeling like a gingerbready type tea. I just think this kind of it's a perfect tea to start December with, because I think just like this book, which is obviously like so Christmassy, it's like very in your face festive, this kind of flavour blend and like just like profile of tea combos is just like a perfect like Christmas in a mug tea, and I feel like it is just like a winner to start the day with. So I'm a big fan of this. I could drink it all. I am going to drink it all, and it probably won't last very long. I'm going to make myself some breakfast, and keeping with the cinnamon theme, I think I'm going to have a cinnamon and raisin bagel, try and get some more reading done, and just enjoy the 1st of December. I feel like I'm not feeling as festive as I could yet because the tree isn't here yet, because obviously it is Thursday morning, so we haven't had a chance to go and get the tree yet, and where possible I don't like to put it up before December. I'm kind of trying to remember, I think I might have put it up before December last year, but maybe not decorated it, because December started on, well, it would have been Wednesday last year, so I think we might have bought the tree the previous weekend and then decorated it on the 1st, but today it's a bit touch and go whether we're going to be able to get the tree today, because Jay is working over in Leeds today and we don't know what time he'll be home, so it kind of depends what time he's home as to whether or not we can go out and get the tree, because we get a real tree, so we have to go and pick it up, and then basically whether or not Jay gets home early enough is the deciding factor as to whether we can put the tree up today or whether it has to wait until it would then have to be Saturday, because tomorrow evening I'm going out for a meal for my grandma's birthday, so it's basically either today or it's Saturday. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for today, because I just feel like it doesn't feel fully like Christmas until the tree's up, but either way, Bird and Blend has really put me in the Christmas spirit. So I hope you are having a wonderful day, wonderful 1st of December if you are watching it today when the video goes live, and yeah, I'll catch up with you in a little bit, probably on my lunch break. Yet again, got to the end of the workday and I'm so cold, but I'm about to make a hot drink. However, before I do, we've got some books to talk about. Now, of course, I have a reading update to share on The Christmas Wish, but first things first, I realised that in my last vlog where I was talking about my Vlogmas plans, I mentioned a really great idea that someone left me when I was asking for what you wanted to see in Vlogmas and suggestions for pieces of content, and I completely forgot to do it this morning. So that was, with each day of the tea advent calendar, I'm going to recommend a book based on the flavour of the tea or the vibe that the tea gives me, or just something that it makes me think of. But in the excitement of it being the 1st of December this morning, that completely slipped my mind. So of course, this morning's tea was gingerbread chai. Now, to summarise what gingerbread chai kind of means for me, I feel like it is obviously sweet and spicy, so it's like cozy and comforting, but it's got a bit of like personality and kick to it as well. It is also just like a really classic tea blend. It's festive and really like lovely and warming, but it's also something that you could like depend on. It's an old classic. You could have that tea pretty much all the time, or I certainly could, and never get bored of it. So I feel like the book that made me think of is, oh great, I just picked up something else with the book. I should mention this actually, as well as sending the extra tea samples with Bird and Blend like deliveries, they always also send you like a handwritten note. So this one says steep into Christmas, and I just feel like the level of customer service, or like making every customer feel special, is out of this world with Bird and Blend. So not only do I love their tea because they taste incredible, I also just think that they're a really, really great brand. But alas, I picked that up with the book that I was trying to recommend. So for me, gingerbread chai in book form is Anne of Green Gables. Now, this book has come back into my mind recently because I had the inkling to start rewatching Anne with an E, or rather pick up where I last left off, which was in like season 2. And I just feel like Anne of Green Gables is very similar to what I just described. She is a really sweet character, but she also has a bit of like spice and pizzazz to her. She's confident, she goes out and she stands out from the crowd. So it's like, it's not just a chai, it's a gingerbread chai. Like it's, you know, it doesn't just blend in, it stands out, it's different, but it's also like really endearing and heartwarming. And I just feel like all of the things that tea makes me think of are very applicable to Anne as a character, and Anne of Green Gables, as well as the show Anne with an E, I just feel like it's something that you can constantly go back to and find each time it would be just as comforting as the first time. And I feel like that's like the book, that's like the tea. So there we go. I wasn't able to remember to do this morning, but we have our first tea inspired book recommendation, and I'm hoping to reread this book soon because I just have been loving watching the show and I just think it's such a cozy book. So there we have it, book number 1. And then back onto the book that I'm obviously currently reading. I actually managed to storm through almost all of this book on my lunch break. I did technically forsake eating lunch on my lunch break so that I could focus just on reading, and then I ate lunch while I was working this afternoon. So I managed to put all of my attention and focus into the book, and I am now basically like 30 pages away from the end, and I'm just loving this book. I don't necessarily know how it's going to wrap itself up, but I've really enjoyed it because I do think you really get to know your main character so well, and although you feel a little bit distanced from the other characters, piece by piece and with each reiteration of Christmas Day that comes, you get to know more and more about the other characters that Gwen is surrounded by. You understand more about her family and the family dynamic, and I just think this book is so clever in the way that it explores how families can be so complicated on Christmas, especially families like this one, where it seems that they don't necessarily spend that much time together outside of like holidays and occasions. And so when they have these big get-togethers, there is so much riding on it and so much bravado and expectation and fear about what people will think about you and what they expect of you and how they want you to be living versus how you want yourself to live. And I just feel like it is very cleverly bringing together all of these elements of festivity and family dynamics in a way that I think is really, really fun. So I'm going to make myself a hot chocolate because 'tis the season, and I also have picked up the like annual December carton of vegan whipped cream because I only ever really buy like squirty cream for like festive occasions. So I've got myself a can of vegan squirty cream. I'm going to make hot chocolate and dive into the last few chapters of The Christmas Wish. I do have to admit it's getting dark now, and I think, sad as it makes me, I don't think we're going to get the Christmas tree this evening because I feel like you want to be able to see it in full light before you choose your tree. So going in the evening might not be the best decision, and also I don't want to have to rush decorating. I want to be able to enjoy it. So as much as I would love to have the tree up today, I think it might make more sense to wait until the weekend. So gonna make my drink, have a little cozy reading session while I wait for Jade to get home, and I'll catch up with you once I have finished the book. conclusion. So I just finished up reading The Christmas Wish and I rated this one 5 stars on Goodreads because it was exactly what it said on the tin. It was Christmassy through and through. It started on Christmas Eve and it ended on a Christmas day, and I just feel like it encompassed so much festivity. It felt distinctly quite British, I would say, in the sense that obviously it was set in England, but also just the characters and the vibe. I don't want to kind of repeat myself too much, but it felt very similar to like a Gavin and Stacey style thing. So I just really liked that because I absolutely have no issue with reading like festive romances set in like the US, for example, but it's sometimes nice to have, especially for holiday books and for like festive books that feel more relatable to your own like holiday, festive, nostalgic experiences. Because obviously while we celebrate Christmas here and many people celebrate Christmas in America as well, I think traditions are quite different. So I just think it's nice sometimes to see something that's like a little bit more recognisable of like your own holiday experience. But equally, I do enjoy reading books that feel quite different from my own Christmas experiences because it's nice to see things from like a different perspective, but also sometimes it's just nice to have a book that feels super nostalgic and relatable, and I really, really did like this one. I thought it was very funny, quick and easy to get through, really, really digestible, and I would highly recommend this one for anyone who's looking for a new festive book to add to their shelves this December. I just feel like it was a really fun read and I'm glad that I decided to start the month with this one. But it's interesting that I should say that because this is actually the only book that I am going to be choosing to read this December. By which I mean I have another incredible idea that came to me from one of you guys when I asked for Vlogmas suggestions, and that was to kind of create like a bookish advent calendar. And I've decided to kind of take that idea and adapt it to suit my goal of trying to get as close as I possibly can to my 2022 Goodreads goal. So I just added The Christmas Wish into Goodreads, which means that I'm currently 35 books away from reaching my Goodreads goal. So this year and every year for the last like 3 years, I think, my Goodreads goal has been 75 books and I have met it every year, and I don't want this year to be the year where that tradition dies. So as you can see, I have currently read 40 books out of 75, which means that for the rest of December I have 35 books left to read. So I thought that's almost an impossible challenge, but I'm not one to shy away from a challenge, and to try and make that impossible challenge a little bit more fun, I've gone through my shelves and selected many books that I haven't read before, as well as some festive and non-festive favourites that I would like to reread this December. And I have added 35 books into a like random spinning generator. So on here we have titles of 35 different books. Like I mentioned, most of them are books that I haven't read yet, but we also have some festive like fun books like An Island Christmas and things like that, as well as some classics like Little Women and Anne of Green Gables and things like that. So I'm going to have a really nice mix, hopefully, of things that I know I'm definitely going to enjoy, because I feel like December, for me at least, is a time when I always gravitate towards rereading books, rewatching movies, rewatching TV shows, and it just feels like the perfect time of year to just indulge in some nostalgia. So I wanted to include some rereads on this list, but also an opportunity to try and tick off quite a few books that I haven't read yet. So throughout the month of December, each time I need a new book to read, I'm going to be spinning this wheel and getting that book like randomly selected for me, because I thought that would just be quite a fun way to mix things up and hopefully like keep me on track, because it's like a fun way to add an extra level of like gameplay into the challenge of trying to read 35 books before the end of the year. So it is the 1st of December, so I'm about to start what we're naming the Impossible Reading Challenge, but who knows if I'll make it happen. I guess we'll have to just all stay tuned and find out, because at the moment I know as much as you do, and that is that I have no idea if this will happen. But of course it is coming to the end of the 1st of December now, so I'm going to wrap up today's Vlogmas video. The rest of the Vlogmas videos will have 2 December days in each, but just to make sure that I could get them uploaded on the correct days, this one was a day before December and then the 1st. So the next one you'll see will be uploaded on Saturday, and it will include Friday and Saturday, so on and so forth. And I'm going to keep us all hanging, myself and you included, because I don't know what book I'm going to be picking up tomorrow, but we'll find that out in tomorrow's Vlogmas video when we spin the spinning wheel of book titles for the first time together. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you are as excited for Vlogmas as I am. And yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited for the rest of this month. So cheers to lots of hot drinks, lots of books, and plenty of festivity.